With more than 1,800 different plant species, Washington Park Botanical Garden is one of the region's major horticultural attractions. It all started in 1902 simply as a greenhouse to supply bedding plants for the newly created Washington Park.
Then about 1985-ish, it became Washington Park Botanical Garden. In the early 70s, our large conservatory and our greenhouses were built to replace that little greenhouse that was used for outside floral shows.
The visitor center and conservatory sits on the western high point of the park and is a great place to start our tour.
You'll be greeted by our main fountain that we usually change it up every year. You know, in the spring it'll have your tulips and your hyacinths, and it just has that refreshing, welcoming smell. And then it migrates into a different change. Like right now we have large banana plants and we have zinnias of all colors up in the front beds. Up towards the building, there's our perennial border bed. So you're gonna find some of our lovely perennial selections. Further back in our grounds, we have one of the largest rose gardens in central Illinois. We have over 3,500 plants in that garden. We also have a monocot garden, which has your iris and your daylilies, which right now the daylilies are just at their peak. And then we have our shade garden, which of course is going to have your hostas and some of your ferns. We also have our annual display garden, and that one is typically it's going to be one of our brightest palette of colors. It's going to have a lot of the bright colors. Right now in there it's got reds and blues, and there are lots of salvia and fountain grass, and it's a lovely location there as well.
The Roman Culture Garden sits adjacent to the conservatory. It features 5 stone columns, which were originally from Springfield's historic Lincoln Library.
We also have a rockery and a labyrinth on our grounds. It's not one you can get lost in, but it's one that you can leisurely stroll on a path that'll take you in and a path that'll take you out. And the plants aren't going to grow past your knee, so you can't get lost in it. But we have a peony bed on our grounds. We also have a bed that was provided through a grant with the Junior League Ladies of Springfield, and that now has All-American Select winners in that garden, so it shows a lot of people what they can get with some of the proven winner plants. So we have a display garden for that. And we have on our grounds also the Angel of Hope, which is lovely it has a lovely landscape around it. So there's a lot of different options to see. A lot of different selections. We also have over 50 deciduous tree collection here on our grounds. So,
while the outdoor garden features plants familiar to many, the conservatory houses tropical and unusual species from around the world.
Part of our greenhouses are really our storage of kind of our archives of our plant collection, and we'll trade them out into our conservatory so the viewers can see them. But a lot of the ones in there are from all over the world. We have the continents represented in the conservatory to show you some of the plants that you wouldn't see here in Springfield. You know, our main focus is, of course, education. We have such a large collection. We have museum status here because we have such a large museum or plant collection. We're technically a living museum.
In addition to gardens and plants, Washington Park is also known for the Reese Memorial Carillon.
It is a musical instrument. A lot of people don't know what it is when they pull up if they're not familiar with the Carillon Bell Tower. It is a bell tower consisting of numerous bells ranging in weight, and it is played from a cabin up in the top, a glass chamber, where we have a carillonneur on staff that actually will go up and play the bells. In June, the first week in June, the first full week in June, they have an international carillon festival, and they'll bring players from all over the world to come play the bells and have concerts in the evening. And it's followed by a spectacular fireworks show that is there. In the summer months, they have concerts on the weekends and on Wednesday nights. And then they have hours later in the week and tours.
During our visit, the carillon was undergoing some renovation, which allowed us to see the bells up close. The Botanical Garden is just one part of the 150-acre Washington Park, where there's a lot to see and do.
Within the park itself, there are tennis courts, a nice large playground that was renovated a few years back. We also have a preschool in one of the historic buildings that's in the park, and several other lovely little spots.
The park is opened year-round, as well as the Botanical Gardens Visitor Center and Conservatory, with special events held throughout the year.